Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Psycho's Platters, always powered by coffee each and every time. Maybe not sponsored by Waffle House, but it is sponsored by coffee each and every time. Mighty Psycho took an unexpected snow day. Yeah, the weather just got real weird down here in Northwest Arkansas today. And so by the time I was even thinking about going into work, it started snowing like an SOB, right? And so I called in. I don't like calling in unless I think, that it's going to get bad. My friends went off and they said the roads were slick. I wish I had four-wheel drive, to be honest with you. So I called in and, well, I ended up on Rachel's show in the morning. She's down to one show now, by the way, in case you guys haven't found that out. Hey, Mason, how you doing? Hi, Tyler. And then so I was on Rachel's show in the morning, and then I did an appearance on James Winston Ono Sinatra. You know what I'm talking about, on his new show in the afternoon. And I said to myself, I thought maybe I would do one. Even though I wouldn't have planned on being here, you see. Yeah, Pixelated Paul. That should be my that should be my damn new nick. It's Pixelated Paul. But like I said, with everything, all things concerned, I feel real stupid though for taking the day off because, well, the snow stopped, and well, I don't know. Maybe the roads might still be bad, but you know what? I'll be back into work tomorrow, so screw them. I meant well. So that's really the gist of things in this angle, anyway. I thought maybe I would do at least a 90-minute show, maybe. I don't know. 90 minutes to 2 hours seems to be pretty good, I think, for trying to do things. I'm not really feeling 100%, to be honest with you, though. My stomach's been screwed up most of the day, too. I don't know. One of the medical tests I had to get, or excuse me, one of my medical appointments that I had to get done, unfortunately had to be rescheduled to mid-April. So that's going to be sort of an important one. That's where I think we're going to go off and start setting up the tests that I need to get done on myself here. When they say, hey, Greg, when they say it, when it rains, it pours. Well, to be honest with you guys, my body seems to be that way. If it's not literally my nerves, something's going on. I can't explain it. It's been like this probably since the holidays, and it hits me when I least expect it. Mixed with, I just got done texting my girlfriend, and she's concerned, of course, about my stomach has been a problem on and off for several years now. What I mean by that is that stomach aches and stuff, and could be stress ulcers, could be something else. I originally was supposed to have a bunch of stuff done in 2020. COVID, of course, that nonsense kind of threw everything out of whack. They had to cancel those appointments. So hopefully we're going to set this back up again. That's all I'm going to say about the medical end of things. I also should mention here that I know it's really weird. Usually I'm used to doing broadcasts in my kitchen/dining room area. But because I've got some work being done right now in the area, mixed with my kid went off and how do I explain this? He collects these cards. For the life of me, I can't remember what the hell they are. He's got them stacked up high. Normally he doesn't go and play on what I call my card tables. So that's why I'm here. I'm in the bedroom here. That's what the white wall is. But it beats flowers on the wall right here in this bathroom stall. You know what, Greg? I hope so. Okay. If you'll allow me for a minute or two, because you know I can yap, to get a little sentimental, not melancholy, sentimental. There's this, okay, so um, I used to talk in my broadcast about somebody, and unfortunately that didn't pan out. You know, life is like that sometimes. God puts people in your life. Sometimes it's for a lifetime, sometimes for its itty bitty bit, but there's reasons to why those people are there, good or bad. Okay. Now, I'm not talking about family per se, because, well, you're stuck with family. But I'm talking about, well, all right, I'm being facetious. I'm talking about the people around you, the people that might be in your inner circle, or maybe the people that are on the fringe. Okay. So they're there for a reason, just like you're there for them for some reason. I'm out of it today, guys. I'm sorry. So, this new lady that is in my life, she means a lot to me. She really, really does. And it's kind of funny how life can be. We've known each other for about 2 years. I would say close to 2 years anyway. And through miscommunication, we drifted. And then through open communication, we came back. And I don't regret it one bit. Um, I am not out to see. Okay, this is for the men. All right, this is for the men in the audience, of the 6 people here. So I'm going to be 55 in September. Okay, once again, just allow me for a minute or two, please, and then I'll get on to music stuff. So some people have this Superman complex, okay, where or like what they call the knight in shining armor complex, where the damsel in distress, that type of stuff, okay. I was like that for many, many years psychologically. And I think because of that is where some of my problems were with myself and with the partner. So it took me a while to wake up, okay, and realize I'm not Superman. I don't need to be Superman. I don't need to be this quote knight in shining armor, which in reality is a rusty armor that the joints barely move. But in other words, accept your faults and accept the faults in others within reason. Don't gloss over them. Recognize and accept what you can and cannot change about yourself. You can't change other people. You can only change yourself. There. That was my Dr. Paul moment. I'll shut the fuck up on that now. And yes, Kathy, I wish London Town Back to the Egg would come out. I'm you, me, and everybody else. Well, hang on a minute. We can rebuild her. Okay, so like who watches Robot Chicken? Okay. They did a clip about the bionic woman, okay? And of course Bionic Man was there, and certain things were bionic, if you get my drift. And I'll just laugh my ass off when I see that clip. By the way, though, see, Greg, I met Lindsay Wagner. I did in 2010 at a Chicago Comic Con, and so I met Lindsay, and who was right next to Lindsay in the next booth? Richard Dean Anderson. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Oscar Goldman. So I got to meet both of them at the same time. They were both nice. But the funny part about it, I mean, Lindsay looked very beautiful, I thought, in person. I was like, wow, it's still cool. And I thanked her. I said, for the entertainment in the 70s and all that. And then with Richard, I went off and I said, sir, I said, even though you were really good in the Bionic Man and the Bionic Woman, I said, my favorite thing was Forbidden Planet. I said, I go, you did such a great job in that movie. That is an iconic sci-fi movie. And that's how I'll always remember him. He took to that very kindly, and he smiled about that and said, "Thank you very much for that." So there's my taste of bionic stuff, right? Just to throw this out there some more though. So a couple booths down, as I was going, there was a couple people from the '70s show What's Happening, if you remember What's Happening. Um, Raj and oh my God, what was it? Dwayne. Raj and Dwayne were there. I got to meet both of those two too. Sometimes and they were both cool. They were both cool. Being able to relive your '70s childhood by meeting these people, it's like, oh shit, okay. I'll tell you who was the tool of the '70s experience, okay? Christopher Knight. Christopher Knight was a tool. Peter Brady was a tool. Greg Brady's awesome. I met Barry Williams. Excellent. But Christopher Knight, what a tool. And I will say this, though, which maybe contributed to the toolness of the day. I did not watch that show. There was a VH1 show with him. Okay, I don't. Somebody know in the comments, spit the title out because I don't remember what the hell it was called. But Christopher Knight was there, and he was married to an actress. Okay, and I can't remember her damn name. See how memorable she was. The actress was there in the next booth. So Christopher Knight had his booth, and she was in the next booth. She was dressed as the slave girl that Princess Leia, for the Jabba the Hutt scene. So you know how revealing that bit was. And of course, these nerdy men were oogling all over her, and Christopher Knight was getting pissed. Seriously, in front of all of us, he was pissed. I got to have an extremely brief interaction with Linda Blair. That was a little goofy. Okay, so like, I guess I get what you're saying because it was a bunch of hokum. It really, really was that show. But okay, I watched a lot of shit when I was bored. I watched a lot of television, good and bad in the '70s and '80s. A lot of good stuff and a lot of shit, like probably all the rest of us out here that were born in that time frame. Okay, and I'm I watched a lot, and so Brady Bunch was always on right after. Let's see, okay, so I'm from Chicagoland, Channel 32, WFLD, a field communication. So it would be Monkeys, Partridge Family, Banana Splits, Brady Bunch. That's how it went Monday through Friday. So I would watch all of that. Yeah, I think truthfully, I thought Linda Blair, what a life though Linda Blair had. We'll go musical for a second. How many of you people out there know that Linda Blair dated I'm Rick James, bitch? Yeah, Linda Blair and Rick James were an item at one point or another, and they were drug buddies together. That part's true. I'm not going off and slandering. Look it up. So, yeah, I'm Rick James. I wonder if he licked Linda's face. Come here, let me lick your face. So, and I heard, and I'm not sure how true this is, that Linda Blair, I don't know if it was during the Exorcist movie or Exorcist 2, somewhere in that timeline. Supposedly that she might have possibly been sexually assaulted. I am not sure how true that is. I heard that a few years back. So he's saying that's true to the Rick James bit, not the sexual assault. So point is, did a lot of drugs, did a lot of booze, okay? But Linda, one of the charities that she has is animal related, okay, like the love of animals. So I was at this con and I didn't I had brought money to meet people, but like when I found out certain people were out of my price range and all that other shit, I was like, okay, well, I didn't know Linda Blair was going to be there. And it was only like, now we're talking 2010 prices, 20 bucks, 20 bucks to get an autographed 8x10, had like a dozen different poses and photos and stuff. Of course, there was some from The Exorcist. There was some from other stuff she did too. And so the thing is I was like, that'd be awesome. Why not? Just a random encounter with Linda Blair. That would be cool. Well, I saw Linda for 2 seconds at the booth, and then I turn around. She's not there anymore. And I'm going, wait a damn minute. She just was here. And the way that con was set up, it was real hard for somebody to disappear that quickly. So I'm like, oh, well, I said, I guess maybe later. So I go turn the corner to go to the next row of people. And I look instinctively back for 2 seconds. Linda Blair is under the booth digging through her purse. Now, I don't know what she's digging in there for, but she is digging, to be descriptive, like a dog digging in a hole for a bone. Seriously, she was that. And I'm looking at this, and I kind of tapped my buddy, and I go, and she's just like this. She stops for a second, like she knows she's being watched. It's not like I was purposely doing it. And she turns a little bit and sees me, right? And I go, and she's like, as she proceeds to dig back through her purse. So I don't know. That was my encounter with Linda Blair. Burt Ward, Robin, rude. Rude and a germaphobe. That's what he was. Which there's nothing, I guess, wrong with being a germaphobe. I mean, Howie Mandel is, right? But he was just out and out rude. Now, because it was even a last chance encounter. I wasn't even planning on meeting Robin. I just happened to. The coolest people I met at that con, I met Mick Foley. Oh yeah, that Mick Foley. That Mick Foley. Hardcore. Oh God. Hell in a Cell. All of it. Mr. Bang Bang. Cactus Jack. Mick Foley. Dude Love. All of them. What a nice individual. Seriously, Mick was and still is. And I got to talk to him literally for about between 5 and 10 minutes because there was nobody else in line. And he even told me some true behind the scenes stories back when he was briefly with TNA, even Impact Wrestling, So I always thought that was neat. And then the other one that was another star of the whole con day was Walter Koenig, Chekhov from Star Trek. Excellent individual, very humble. I had pleasant experiences with those two. And I got to meet Mickey Dolenz from the Monkees, as everybody knows how much I love the Monkees. So that was my only time I got to meet Mickey. And I would love to meet Mickey again. So, new subscribers, and thank you very much for joining the Psychos Platters Network. We try to educate and entertain here whenever possible. Check out these channels: Broke with Audiophile Taste, Northern Revolutions, and Miss 80s Movies and Music. That's right. Welcome to the Psycho Platter Network. Excuse me a second. Let me throw an invite out to any of the 13 people that want to come on board for a little while. I'd love that. I really, really would. And let's see here a minute. I met Mickey and Mike. Yes, you know what, Tyler? I will always be envious. Can't talk. Envious of you being able to meet those two together. I really wish I. Okay, look. So I would have been. Normally, I'm pretty calm, cool, collected. When I met Davey, I made him laugh. When I met him the first time in '88, it was kind of a very quick meet, okay? Because there was a lot of people. Not saying there wasn't a lot of people in '05 after the show, but I got to meet Davey and make him laugh. Peter was an interesting sort. He was kind of a little more reserved. He had that dry little wit about him for the brief interaction. I'd say maybe 2 to 3 minute interaction. I ended up talking to James Lee Stanley as well for a couple of minutes. They were both very nice. And then Mickey, um, he was okay, not great, but he was okay. He was sort of personable, but obviously very very busy. But Mike, I think that I don't know. I would have had a bunch of questions for him. And if I met Mike and Mickey, I'm not going to lie. I don't know if I would have teared up or not. You know, everybody out here has got their favorite musician and favorite band that puts you right back to your childhood, maybe good or bad. They got you through. The Monkees were mine. I love those individuals. I love them. They don't even know me. Three are dead. They don't even know me, but I love them. I will always love them. Just like I love the Beatles. The Beatles are up there, but the Monkees to me are what's in the heart, my heart band. You know what I'm saying? And I'm glad I got to meet most of them. And so I'll always carry those memories. What's Zeb saying here? I'm starting to think James's mom knows the band Devo. Maybe she does. Who knows? Who knows? Comic Con, yes. Links do not work without wrench. Well, wait a minute. I don't give out wrenches. I've never given out a wrench. Hi, Mike. Would love to be part of your live stream. Not tonight, but maybe. You know what? And that's okay. That's okay. Perfectly, Mike. Whenever you feel up to it. Like I said, I didn't expect to be doing a broadcast today. This was so last minute. But let me talk about some more musical stuff, okay? If that's all right with you. I put up a link if anybody wants to come up. So there's a couple contests I want to join, and I'm going to share the information with you too. So there's a channel, I think Alexander is his name, and it's called I Collect Stuff Vinyl Community. Show me 5 super cool picture sleeves. 5 super cool picture sleeves. They could be good, they could be suck. Point of the matter is, he wants to see 5 picture sleeves. That contest ends April 4th. Michael, she is slowly on the mend. She did, Double T did return back to work yesterday. She called in today, though, because, well, guess what? I was the ride for her. So she also called in. No problem. If it were at James's live show and the musician shared his version of Mongoloid. Ah. She suddenly comes on screen and asks you, what? Well, that's interesting. Second contest bit, which this one's going to be a little bit more of a challenge for me anyway, because there's a couple easy ones here. But Maria Wesley's contest, yes, her pretending to be all about herself kind of contest. Song or album with the word Maria, or since she's from Atlanta, Georgia, show an artist that's from Atlanta. You got till the end of March to get that one done, all right? So let me show you my contest winnings. Hang on a second. So I won a contest, like I stated in James's show earlier today. Hang on a second. I don't understand. I don't. I mean, I saw that your thing got deleted. I don't know why or whatever. I do not understand. I don't understand. I have never personally had any issue with you, sir. I like your puns, and I like some of your other jokes and such. So I don't know. Sorry that that happened. God, I've rarely ever had to pull nonsense or remove nonsense. Yeah, everybody knows that this is a drama-free nonsense zone. So, how do you feel about Fogarty and CCR? Are you the one that we've ended up talking about CCR with? I love Fogarty and CCR. Now, go ahead. I've got the link. I'll put it back again. I'll put it back again. Like I said, though, I don't, I don't want just no nonsense. No nonsense. That's all. There's the link. So I ended up winning a prize. Like I said, yeah, from the Vinyl Museum's contest, which that one was actually a very easy contest, truthfully, and very grateful that he had that contest all the way from Canada. Yes, yes. I can't read this, but it starts with wood. And by the way, this gentleman here, I forgot to mention, he's got a. Where'd you go? Dave, I clicked on you. Try again. You disappeared. I don't know what happened. You came up, your image came up. I went to put you up and you disappeared. So try again. So the thing is that I ended up, like I said, Dave's got a contest. I think it ends the 15th. Go check his out too. He's got a cool contest. So, courtesy of the Vinyl Museum, this was what I won. To save time, I kind of cut into the box, but I have not shown this. Let me make sure there's no little letter. Anyways, yeah, I know, right? Okay. Well, yeah, I mean, I know I didn't do anything. I swear to God I did. I have no reason to boot anybody off. So, Dave, if you're watching, try again. Okay? The link should still be up there. So, this is third prize, and I was looking forward to third prize. Nash the Slash, Bedside Companion. Now, Nash the Slash. All right, let's try this again here. I'm clicking on you. I hope it goes. Now, Nash the Slash. All right, let's try this again here. I'm clicking on you. I hope it goes.
I can see you. Can you hear me?
Nash the Slash. All right, let's try this again here. I'm clicking on you. I hope it goes.
I can see you. Can you hear me?
Nash the Slash. All right, let's try this again here. What the hell? Am I in some loop? I hope it goes.
I can see you. Can you hear me?
Nash the Slash. All right, let's try this again here. Oh my God. Hang on a second. Nash the Slash. All right, let's try this again here. Oh my God.
Hello? Are you there?
Yeah, I don't understand what happened. Sorry about that, kids. See, you disappeared. Then it was my turn. I purposely disappeared because I figured that would stop the loop. and I guessed
Oh,
right.
well, I'm
Sorry, Dave, and everybody.
I'm not tech savvy, so I don't know what I'm doing on this. I'm not very good at live streams,
I
obviously.
just guessed.
Yeah, yeah.
Anywho, so third prize, Nash the Slash from the band FM, I guess. He is from the Canadian band FM. This, I haven't heard one bit of this, but this intrigued me. This came out in 2014, and it's just a straight black vinyl version. And he plays all the instruments on here. And I mean, we're talking about like things like glockenspiel and mandolin and all kinds of things. Yeah, okay, fine. Yes, it was mentioned 50 times or so. Now it's been 53, so shush. So help me. All right. How are you doing, sir?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well. I got a couple new records today also.
Ooh, show
They're in the
please.
other room, but you mentioned all the glockenspiel and all those ancient instruments. I have a band that I picked up, an album that has got it's actually one of David Lindley's first bands, and that band they played a lot of different ancient antique instruments like those bazookies and the tablas and stuff like that.
The tablas.
Yeah.
Nice. So Lindley from X-Ray Specs, am I right on that?
Yeah, Lindley. Well, before he was in X-Ray Specs, he did session work with Jackson Brown,
Right.
and I think he was an all-star session man. He did Linda Ronstadt, but before that, he was in a band called Kaleidoscope. It was a folk psych band, and they put out 4 albums. And I just picked up their first album today, and
nice.
I just love it. It's
Emmett Rhodes, right?
No, I don't. Emmett Rhodes wasn't in the band. It was David Lindley.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Merry-Go-Round. That was Emmett Rhodes.
Yeah. This guy they have another guy, from Turkey in the band. And he plays a wide variety of just different instruments that I've never heard of. But this band,
Nice.
It was very short-lived. They weren't around very long, but yeah, I enjoyed it. Yeah, that's what I've been doing today, listening to music.
Sweet. Like I said, I didn't listen to one bit of this. I'm going to be real curious on this one here. I'll tell you. Yeah, it says performed on electric violin, mandolin, electronic percussion. I hope this writing font is weird. I want to say Elka, glockenspiel, and numerous devices on Artifact Records. So yes. I like good oddball stuff.
Yes.
I don't know if you heard my. Oh no, you didn't. I'm sorry, you didn't hear the story. Because it wasn't on YouTube, I brought this up. It was with a friend of mine yesterday. I did a duo call with a friend of mine that originally came out of the Austin, Texas area. And so I've never been to Texas. I want to go down to Austin, but not during South by Southwest. I just want to go and tool around.
I'd love to see that.
I would have loved to have been down there in the 70s and the 80s for that matter, because well, I brought up like Armadillo World Headquarters, which as soon as I brought that up, her eyes bugged out. And I'm going, so any Roky Erickson stories? And she didn't expect me to know who the hell that was. She's about my age. And her eyes bugged out again. She goes, oh, I can't tell you I go, what do you mean you can't tell me the story? She goes, this is the only part I'll tell you. The room that he rented from us, because they ran a lodge at one point outside of Austin. He goes, the only thing I can tell you is the room that he rented for about a month from us, he painted, what was it? He painted the electric sockets purple and yellow. I'm like, what? And he's like, she goes, that's all I'm going to say for now. And I'm going, but talking about Roky, though, is what gets me to the story. So whenever I've heard strange sounds, and everybody's like, when you hear a record, go, what the hell is that? Because you can't figure things out. So I knew of 13th floor elevators, but I didn't know the music. So the first song that I ever heard from 13th was not You're Gonna Miss Me. It was Slip Inside This House, which to me is hypnotic and trance, right? It's like it gets you real good. But I'm listening to this very awesome song, and I'm hearing this weird, I'm going, what the hell is this? And it was driving me batty for days, maybe a week or two. And I'm going, what the hell? And I'm listening, and it was in You're Gonna Miss Me. And I'm going, and yep, there was a black and white television video, I think from Texas, where they're doing You're Gonna Miss Me. Roki's doing his thing, and it was that damn jug with the pen mic going, and I'm going, oh, fuck, that's the sound. That's the sound. I didn't even know they could do that shit in the 60s. You see what I'm saying? And I'm like, bing, problem solved. Hey, it's Rip 'em All. Another new sort of new channel to me. I mentioned you last broadcast, Rip 'em. Go check out Rip 'em All. You guys are gonna have some fun there, indeed. I like the Hulk Hogan on the icon bit. Next week I get to go hopefully meet $1 Million Man Ted DiBiase and Booker T. We shall see how that goes. So yes, go, Dave. Why don't you mention your contest? You only have a few days left, I guess. On it.
I think the drawing is Tuesday the 15th. Show 5 psych albums. I did my 200, pushed to 200. I went well over thanks to great channels like Vinyl Richie, The Happy Hippie. I won't go into all of them. I'm going to do a video, a pickup video, and contest update videos sometime between now and then, and have the drawing, I think Tuesday or Wednesday, and whatever the 15th is. I think it's Wednesday. But I want to thank you and everybody else that entered it. I appreciate it.
An awesome, cool contest, I'll tell you. You cannot get enough psych. There's a booth in my town, and they always sell crap tons of albums. And after I ended up doing that fuzzy video, which I still can't believe it came out that way, I did trip on some psych, but unfortunately, some of them were so damaged, I was like, shit. One side would be great, the other side would be, I'm like, whoever had this shit either hated the person or whatever. But I mean, I can't even begin to tell you some of the names anyway, but I guess maybe stuff like Sunshine Company, Time was another one which had some former Steppenwolf members. I wanted that one. That hurt. And I'm like, son of a bit, because somehow I tripped on some of those tracks from Time, and I wanted that. There was another one that I like was that I found. I couldn't believe it. Peppermint Trolley. Trust. That song's got a meaning, a personal meaning. And I'm like, I wanted that damn album. I've got the 45. I found it not too long back. But I was just like, I love that song. And before my wife passed, I played her that song, and I said, this is how I feel about you. I said, listen to this. Normally not her cup of tea, so to speak. Acid cubes or not. And but she really took it to heart on that one. So I've always liked that song. And like I said, I had to have an excuse, Dave, to throw in the Monkey's Head, because that is just such a for movie and soundtrack. Anytime I can make an excuse to put Monkeys in, I'm going to do it.
Yeah, I love the Monkeys album, Ahead, and I love the movie too. I like the movie better than Frank Zappa's 200 Motels, actually. I actually thought it was more coherent than that.
I still want to see it anyway. Never saw it. I've got the soundtrack lying around
Well, you
somewhere,
didn't
I
see it.
think, unless I gave it to my Zappa friend. I might have gave it to her already. I don't know. But yes, yes, yes. I think I just remember seeing a still or a short clip of Ringo dressed up as Zappa, and I'm like, I said, that's great. I'm just like, see, Zappa. God, when I was a kid is when I tripped. And I mean, let's face it, for a dude that never did drugs, he was so out there. You have to go off and throw some psych stuff from Mothers. It's like maybe the rest of the band did drugs, but Frank didn't. And you're sitting here going, what the? And so through purchasing a Dead Man's Record collection, I always hate doing that though, because I always feel bad because it's like I really would have loved to have. His name was Alan, and I would have rather have met Alan and shared stories than buying this. But he had good taste, so he had from Zappa's Freak Out all the way to Shake Your Booty. He had all the Zappas, and I'm sitting here, so I'm like, I just decided I was going to listen to a Zappa a day, one whole just one album, going in chronology. And yeah, that Mother stuff, I'll tell you. but yeah, talk about some psych on that side of the fence. I don't know. He was so groundbreaking.
Very psychedelic. Freak Out and Absolutely Live, and the We're Only in It for the Money. Those three were the big his big three psych albums. Then he put out a doo-wop album. Yeah, the Cruising with Ruben and the Jets.
Right. I don't. God, that might be. Did I end up having that? I can't remember anymore. Because yeah, I mean, let's face it, the doo-wop bit that I do remember. It's some of those 45s that he's involved in early 60s, mid 60s, fetch for big money. I've never come across those, and I wish we could find out what incidental porno that he worked on that he got arrested for in the early 60s.
I know what that was. According to him, I actually saw the Zappa documentary on that. Or not on that, but the Frank Zappa docu drama that the Alex Winter, I think, directed. And according to Frank, he said that a guy that was putting on a bachelor party wanted a movie or something, and a porno movie. And Frank was doing these a video production or something like that. And they agreed to it. And Frank didn't do a video. They did an audio of erotic noises and stuff like that. And they gave it to this bachelor. Apparently the bachelor was a undercover cop. And they took that recording and they arrested him. I think Frank spent a day or two in the clink in Southern California. I don't know how much he didn't spend very long in the, it was a couple of days in the jail maybe, but nothing came out of it.
You have to forgive me. I'm listening to your story, but when Walrus went off and mentioned, rest in peace, Bobby Nelson. Now I figured out, wow. Okay, so Bobby Nelson, rest in peace, sister of Willie Nelson, dies at age 91. Longtime band pianist for Willie. Damn. Cute looking lady, too. Wow. Well, they're all dropping. That's the problem. All of these guys are going. 91 though is a good life at 91. I'll tell you that.
Was she his older sister or a younger sister? How old is Willie now?
I thought Willie's at least a couple years younger than her, so it's got to be older. I just didn't know he had an older sister. I feel stupid. I like Willie, but I'm not a huge fan of Willie's music to know everybody.
Yeah, Willie Nelson. I was going to go. We were going to go see Willie Nelson a couple years ago, but he wants $400 a ticket to see him in.
Is Dave
Yeah,
shit 400?
yeah.
Damn.
This about 3 years ago at St. Augustine Amphitheater, and I'm not going to pay that.
No, 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 no. That's funny though that you bring that up because Willie played. Let's see, I've been down in Northwest Arkansas for 15 years, and I remember that Willie played a handful of different times in Springdale, Arkansas, which is about 2 towns down from here. One was at the local ballpark that could fit about 10,000, right? The tickets were started at, now remember, this was a few years back, I think 100 to 150. That was the start. And I'm going, fuck that. I said, I can't deal with that. Then there was another time where he played, it was a Holiday Inn we had, and he played the hotel ballroom. So you knew there was only going to be a certain amount of people, and it was ridiculously priced there too. And you know who did the same damn thing? BB King. BB King did the same shit the last couple of years of his life. And I'm going, and I wanted to see both of them. And I'm going, I can't afford this. I work for Walmart. I can't afford this.
It's really terrible when they do that. I mean, I would love to see them, but ticket prices are really terrible.
You can blame the Eagles and the Stones for that shit. I'll tell you, they're the ones that started all that crap.
Well, I saw the Stones in '95. It was the Voodoo Lounge tour, and a ticket. I paid $52 for my ticket, and it was a great seat. We were like right. I don't know how many rows, about 20 rows back on the side of the stage. So, and that was '95, but today they're just terrible prices.
Yeah. Well, that would have been neat to see him for that one. I'm trying to remember. I mean, one of the hottest tickets. I'm like, okay, so even though I was Chicagoland, I didn't know really about Rockford very much. Okay, Rockford being more west, heading towards Iowa. Of course, the last few years I lived in Illinois, I was pretty close to Rockford. I could take like about a 30-minute drive, and I'm right at that Metro Center, which was a 10,000 seater. And the Stones slapped a gig for the 82 tour. They stuck it in Rockford at the Metro Center, and I'm like, oh shit. And so who did they have for their opener? Prince.
Oh, yeah. I think I
there,
heard.
there you go. For that Stones gig, Prince was the opener, 82 for the Stones. And I'm like, yes, please and thank you. And I would have loved to have gone to that one, along with the other gig that I'm a Kiss fan. And yes, I know 82 was not that great, but it was the Creatures of the Night tour. So they brought the big tank that Eric was on. And that one was also at the Metro Center, and it was Kiss and the opening band, Plasmatics. That's right. So I would have loved this 15-year-old kid would have been. Fuck yeah. So
yeah, I remember that. I saw the Kiss when they took the makeup off in the '80s. That's the one show I saw. I would like to see the full blown Kiss though, but yeah.
90 was the first time I saw Kiss. That was, they called it the greatest show on earth. It was at Alpine Valley, Wisconsin. And it was, let's see if I can remember this. I always have a hard time with this. So it was Faster Pussycat, Slaughter, Winger, and Kiss. And it was the Hot in the Shade tour and the Sphinx with the laser eyes. And I'm like, the only time I got to see Eric play live in that band, I'll always remember that. And then it was 98 when they came to Metro Center, and it was the Psycho Circus 3D tour, which the 3D really did not work that well. They had some goofy band from Canada called Econoline Crush open for them, and they did 2 albums, and that was the end of Econoline. If so, get this. So that was the last date that they were going to be opening for Kiss. The next night in Madison, Wisconsin, was Collective Soul. I'm like, son of a bitch, I would have rather have heard Collective than this Econoline junk. But
Yeah.
they did a great job, Kiss did on that one. Okay. I remember I was on Gene's side of the stage, and it was a great show. Then 2000 was the last time I saw the original 4. They called it the Farewell Tour. Yeah, right, aka Farewell Ace and Peter. And I'm just like, I had 12th row. That was about the, I paid back then, but you're gonna laugh when I say $65. That's how much I paid in 2000. Ooh, $65 to get 12th row. So it was Skid Row. Unfortunately, no Sebastian. So it was Johnny Bollinger, who's dead now too. So it was Skid Row. Ted Nugent was the middle, and Kiss. And I'm just like, it was a great triple bill, even with Skid. Nuge only did about an hour set, but it was still damn good. It was ear splitting, which I knew it would be. And then Kiss did their thing. When the flash pots would go up, you could feel the heat from 12 rows. Like shit. And then Paul had that zip line, and there was a mini stage 2 rows behind me, literally. So I'm like, I saw him go, and then he'd go do his 3 songs, and then back up he did. And then I didn't see him again until 2017 with which was like half Kiss. But I don't know if you heard when I was on with James earlier. I guess there's a con next month in Nashville.
Heard that.
And Ace is playing there. Peter is going to be there to play a couple songs with Ace.
To me, that's a Kiss reunion.
Yeah. Because I thought they were like this for the last couple of years, and I'm going, okay, it can't be that bad if you guys are going to go do this. And then under the same, it's called Creature Fest, and under the same roof, I don't know if it's the same day, but it's a weekend con. Bruce Kulick's going to be there, and may or may not, nobody hold your breath, Vinnie Vincent, the man who saved Kiss. Oh boy.
Yeah, Vinnie Vincent. That's a blast from the past.
Vinnie Vincent. I liked Creatures of the Night where he played, and I liked Lick It Up. And his songs on my head hurts. Revenge are good. They're really good. That's what saved the record in 92. But he got too big of a head, strange ego, do not understand. And that Vinnie Vincent album, remember that video for Boys Gonna Rock? Oh my God. It was so over the fucking top. If you people have never seen that video, go watch it when you're bored for a couple of minutes, because it's just 1986 over the top, all the hair, with that even Aquanet, couldn't handle, pink guitars, everything all over I don't even want to budget for that thing. And yeah, so Vinny may or not be there, ripping off the fans.
Oh, yeah. Well, they hype them up, and then you go there, then half of them don't show up. But I like those conventions. We have those here in Jacksonville. We'll have we have a record convention about quarterly now, which is very cool. And we have these Comic Con type things in Jacksonville. Jacksonville's huge.
Never been to Jacksonville. My grandparents lived in Tampa Bay, a couple blocks away from Buccaneer Stadium. I got to fish in the Gulf. Did the touristy. This is 70s, like late 70s. That was the last time I was in Florida. I would love to go check that out. We got Thrasher Be Thrashed morning, guys from Australia. Yes, I hope you're doing well in the land down under. So good to see you, and good morning over there. It's about almost 6:30 my time p.m. here.
I bet his favorite heavy metal singer is Ozzy Osbourne.
Oh boy, Aussie odd. So you got any concert things coming up, Dave?
No, no concerts. I'd like to see that. I would have liked to seen that Primus does Rush concert tour, but I think they already came and went. But I don't know who's coming now. But the last show I think I saw was Fish about 6 years ago. So,
there you go.
Yeah, I've been to a few smaller club shows, but nothing major. I'm slowing down in my concert going. Unfortunately, maybe I'll get back on that, but I did enjoy a lot of concerts. I've seen a lot of great bands. You brought up Tampa. I saw the Grateful Dead there. The only time I ever saw them in '95 was one of Jerry Garcia's last shows. I think it was his. It was. He did 3 other shows after that before he passed away.
Damn.
So,
yeah. Chicago was the last one, and what happened? Okay, once again, I'm always this close to getting to really cool stuff, and then something fell away. Dead performed at Soldier Field. The band was the opening act because they had a new album out at the time. And my friend had a spare ticket, and I had jerk bosses. Needless to say, though, I did get to see short bits of video from that gig, and he was not feeling well, and he was not. I don't want to say he wasn't at 100%, but he certainly wasn't even in good form, which is sad, but I would have loved to have seen him. That probably is one of my regrets. That and the same friend had a spare ticket for the, oh boy, here we go here, 1990. Buddy Guy, Eric Clapton, Stevie Ray Vaughan, Alpine Valley. Yep.
It's a good one.
He had a unique perspective.
Yeah.
And what he told me, he goes, Paul, his name was Brian, by the way, my friend. He goes, Paul, I'm never going to forget this concert. And I said, why? Because it was Stevie Ray's last. He goes, that and there's something you don't know about. And I'm like, all right, well, tell me. And he goes, well, by the time the concert ended, I think he was like somewhere around midnight, slightly after midnight, whatever. Okay. And Alpine Valley, being in southern Wisconsin, more towards the Milwaukee side. If JJ was here, he'd be telling me more about this. Even in the summer nights, you could get the fog. Okay. And boy, did it happen. Around there. The handful of shows I went to, it always seemed to happen. That was in the late 80s when I used to go there. So the thing was that they did have in the outdoor venue, but in the back, I guess, there was obviously a spot for helicopters. And so the thing about Alpine back then anyway, was there was one way in, one way out. If I remember correctly, they could have changed it since '88, the last time I was there. But so everyone was kind of waiting to get out. Now you're talking about between 1 and 2 in the morning. And he heard this big clap of thunder, no lightning, this big boom of thunder. And he goes, he didn't think about it then. He realized after he heard that news report, he heard the damn copter smack right into and I'm going.
Oh,
goes,
wow. I didn't
never
know it was that close.
And I'm just like, shit. And so, and I remember driving to work the next morning. And I remember the first radio reports were like, this is not confirmed right now, but we hear that rock star Eric Clapton might have perished in a helicopter. And I'm going, Clapton? And I'm like, oh, hell no. Well, by the time I got to work, the newscaster went off and said, we were wrong in our previous newscast. Unfortunately, Stevie Ray Vaughan. I'm like, shit. I said, that's even worse. That's what I said. I'm like, because Eric was okay. But yeah. I'm like, damn. I'm like, so yeah. So Stevie Ray. So the Dead. That's why with that though. I would have loved to have seen the Dead at least once. But I didn't, they didn't land into my universe till I want to say, geez, maybe like high school. So 81, 82. I remember they came to Rosemont Horizon, which was like Chicago's version of a concrete box. The acoustics were never that great in that venue, still aren't. I went to a couple shows there, but I probably would have.
I actually had tickets to see the Dead the year before that in Orlando. They were doing a 2-night set on Friday or Saturday and Sunday. What happened is one of the drummers, I think Mickey Hart's dad, died the Saturday, so they canceled the first show. So everybody that had a ticket, the Sunday show went on, but everybody that had a ticket to the Saturday show thought that they could get in the Sunday show. And it turns out they couldn't. And there was a mini riot in Orlando. It was actually national news. It was well, not national. It was regional news, and but it was a big deal because people just thought, it sucks when they cancel shows like that. But I can understand that somebody's dad died, but they
Right. Yeah. I don't know. It seemed like even the attitudes of concert goers were starting to shift around that time again too. But keeping it Dead related for a second, I remember seeing the video to it was in Deer Creek in Indiana, and they were talking about the riot at the Deer Creek. I'm like, and Deer Creek was not known. It was an amphitheater. It was not known for rioting. And I'm like, rioting at a Dead show? What the hell? And it was like, it just started to get to the point that it was starting to be a liability.
Yeah.
And I'm going, for the Dead, come on. That just didn't seem right.
Yeah, it sucked though. I didn't get a refund. Saturday, I went home. I wasn't part of the crowd that rioted. I went home Friday or Saturday when I found out the show wasn't going on. But I saw it on the news. I'm like, oh god. But Psycho's Platter. Thank you for having me come on board. I have to do a few things around the house, but appreciate you having me. I just want to say briefly,
thanks for being here.
I've got a couple of entities that are trying to keep me down on the streams, but we're working through it. And I appreciate everybody that taken part in my contest and the comments and everything. And I'll see you again real soon.
Take care. Take care, Dave. Thank you. That was neat. I don't know if I've ever had Dave on before. I think that is really neat indeed. I'm going to be on here for a little bit more. If anybody cares to come on for a little bit, that would be wonderful. If not, I could totally understand that too. I know it's a Friday night, and I'm guessing somebody also must be having a show on based on I went from about 15 to 6 people. So I don't know who's broadcasting. Billy Strings, huh? Billy Strings. You got me on that, Walrus. I don't know who that is, but now I'm going to have to do a little research on Billy Strings. As far as for potential concerts, I don't really know what's going to happen exactly. Um, Pretty much here in the area of Northwest Arkansas, it's pretty relaxed now, finally, due to the COVID nonsense subsiding, which is nice. The last concert I went to was March 8th, 2020, when I saw the great 70s prog rock band Nectar in a 200-seat club in Fayetteville, Arkansas. George's Majestic Lounge is a interesting, legendary place to go see a show. You're right. You're absolutely right. Speaking of, though, the last major one that I remember to come through there was Jeffrey Tate. Jeff Tate. Why am I calling him Jeffrey? I'm tired. Jeff Tate, formerly of Queensryche. I'm told the show went very, very well down there, and he was performing. Him and his band were performing Empire and, if I remember correctly, Operation Mindcrime, both albums in its entirety. That would have been really damn good. I should have probably gone and seen him, but unfortunately, my life gets really, really busy. It's not like it was even a few years ago. Uh, it's really hard to sometimes be able. I used to be able to go to about 5 to 10 shows a year, and that still may not sound like a lot for some of you guys out there. But 5 to 10 shows for me was pretty good when I could wedge it among kids and work and this and that. So as far as I know, though, also budget dictates too. Like, let's see. They went off and announced, for example, ZZ Top. They're announcing ZZ Top's coming here in late June. But you know what? I'm glad I saw ZZ back in 2009, 2010, somewhere around then. I got to see the original trio, of course, because Dusty is no longer with us. But there is an album coming out in late July, if I remember correctly. It was a private live affair. Somebody ran tape. So I might be curious to get that. I don't know the name of the album. I'm sorry, but I'm led to believe it's in late July, and it was recorded a couple months before Dusty passed. So I think that could be quite interesting. I think I would have loved to have heard at least one more studio album from them, because unless I'm wrong, I want to say 2012, 2014. I think that was the last time they had a studio album. Yeah. See, thank you. I think it should be too, and I'll probably grab it. I really, really will on that one. I always liked ZZ. My quick encounter, unfortunately, was not with Billy or Dusty. It was with Frank Beard. I got to talk to him for 2 seconds, but while he was, yes, walking his chihuahua after the concert, don't ask, it was weird. But that's the only guy I got to quickly bump into from ZZ. But yeah, I mean, I like the 70s stuff and the 80s stuff. I don't know. It seemed like to me there you go, La Futura. Well, that was the last one, right? The last studio album, I think. If I'm wrong, let me know. I think I think I remember that they played on the radio station here. Oh God, I can't. I'm sorry, guys. My noggin isn't the way it used to be. Okay, so my memory gets really kind of screwed up. Before the COVID, it was a little bit starting to get screwed up. After I got it back in August 21, it really screwed up. So it takes a lot more for me to remember things, and I have to apologize about that. Royce in the house is Royce in the house. That's right. How you doing, my friend? I hope everything's doing well in your neck of the woods. See, that's the thing. and they had that sound. They had that sound. The 70s and and even when they started going with the synths, for Eliminator, I still bought Eliminator, Afterburner, Recycler. I think that's the one with, but my head's in Mississippi. There was a couple good stuff off of that. I think that was the last ZZ I bought, though, was Recycler. For some reason, I just fell away from ZZ. Good. So anyway, so they're coming here in late June. ZZ is, but the one so far that I'm interested in going to see, though, okay. Is it wrong that I really want to see the opener instead of the headliner? I mean, out of respect, I might go listen to a couple songs from Chicago, but Chicago pretty much, I mean, I know some people go off and go, Chicago's been pretty much a tribute band at least since 90. Yeah, they pretty much have. And what I mean by 90 is this. Obviously, Terry being dead in 78, Peter, okay, Cetera getting either quit or fired or both in 85. Danny Seraphine getting fired in 90. Okay. So since 90, in my opinion, they've been a tribute band. You've got Robert Lamb and you've got two of the horn players left. That's it. And all these other people. I mean, Champlain's not with them. Triss isn't there. None of them are there. So I'm like, I really am not going to see Chicago. That's right, Walrus. I want to see Brian Wilson, Al Jardine, okay, and Blondie Chapin. That's the opening act for Chicago. I was getting there. I was being long-winded. So yeah, that's what I want to go see. Okay. And so although I'm not a big fan of Brian's newest solo thing, okay, see, so let's see, 17, 18 years ago. So that would have been 04, 05. Yeah, I don't know if I would have won. I mean, don't get me wrong. Jason Sheff, I think, was a good singer for the material he had. Okay. Right. Exactly. Like I thought when I saw U2 in 1980 with opening for Echo and the Bunnymen. That was one of those right there that I was like, I like U2. That's how I ended up liking them. So that's one of them. And then the second show, I kind of want to go, oh, I'm sorry. When you were 17, 18 years old, I feel so stupid. Oh, God, you saw him in the Glory Day. Holy shit, with Terry and everything. Oh, I would have loved that. I would have so loved to have seen them. Sometimes I think I was born in the wrong time period. And for you people out there that like old school Chicago, go check out that documentary on Terry Kath. You will not be sorry. His daughter did an excellent job on this documentary, along with the other people that were involved in it. Okay. It's just, those first couple Chicago records, my God, they were great. And I bet it was a crazy night too. I bet. But yeah, so the other show that I know right off the bat I would like to go see, I guess, even though I've already seen two of the three bands. So Loverboy's the opener. Still all original members except for the bass player, of course, who passed away in I think 2000, 2001, but everybody else is still there for Loverboy. And so Loverboy, Styx, and REO Speedwagon. Now, I've seen Styx and REO. I have. I saw Styx in 05 and REO in 2010. Yeah, I think so. I was one back then. Like I said, I'll be 55 in September. Hey, Trish, how are you? What did Tennessee? I don't know. You same thing. I oh boy, I don't understand what you're saying, but that's okay. I'm kind of out of it myself. So that's the other show that so far seems interesting to me. Although George's did announce a Seven Dust show, which I do like Seven Dust. I think they're playing the whole Animosity album, if I remember correctly. You were 3 and 6. See, there you go. See, so Greg, you're the same age as me. But yeah, I would have loved to have seen Chicago back in the heyday. Just plain as day on that one. Trying to think here. There's oh okay. All right, Mike. Oh boy. Maybe I need more coffee. Oh, look who's coming here. Ladies and gentlemen, to the show, Mr. Calvin. How are you,
Hey,
sir?
hey, not bad. This isn't the best. This isn't the best time of the year for me to come on, but since I saw you on, I saw I'll pop in for a few minutes.
Thank you. Thank you. I got maybe about 10, 15 minutes. I'm going to wrap it up here today. I wanted to do a 90-minute, and that'll be okay. So what's the word, Calvin?
Because I put sports above music. So with the basketball going on,
Uh-huh.
and right now Miami's beating Duke, so I'm really excited.
Are we a betting man, or are you just for fun?
There's some websites where you can like have pretend money and bet against the spread and bet against other people. I do that, and of course, if I can find someone who only charge like $5, I do the NCAA tournament pool.
Sure.
But I usually like to do those for free because I'm such a big fan. There's usually at least like I usually like at least one team in every conference. So I'm pretty well knowledgeable. So when it gets to the tournament, I'm very biased in the games if I like a team versus a team I don't like very much. In my head I find a way to rationalize, oh yeah, okay, this team's a 15 seed, but yeah, they can beat this 2 seed, no problem.
That's the
so
thing
next thing I know, I'm picking all these crazy upsets, and they all don't pan out. The least you know, the better I think the better you do in those kinds of things.
Mm-hmm.
Because you're more likely to go with chalk and to go with the favorites all the time. You're better off than trying to pick upsets.
Yeah, I too much guesswork sometimes, and they just have fun and see what the hell happens. I'm going to give you my only March Madness story I have. If you've heard this, forgive me, but so Mountain Dew used to do this contest. I don't know if they still do for the March Madness. This goes back into the 90s. And so I used to drink this shit a lot. We had a whole bunch of 20-ounce bottles and the caps and the colleges and stuff. So I collected all this, right? Because it was like, okay, you get the winning school, you turn in the cap, and you get this specific jersey, and you get thrown in to this special drawing where you could win all kinds of shit. So I'm like, okay. So as we're going along, now I'm living in Chicagoland, so of course I'm rooting for my Illinois people, but none of them end up in. So the thing is that we're down to the Final Four. And out of all that, I only had one cap from that Final Four. And it said U of A, University of Arkansas, our Razorback basketball team. Now, mind you, I'm in Chicagoland. I don't know diddly shit about U of A. This is like 92, 93, I think. Okay, I could be wrong. But so they're the only one left in the four. This is the only cap I have. So for once, I'm watching because now you're down to the two, and Arkansas is still there. And I'm going, wouldn't it be damn funny if and sure enough, nail biter, won the damn thing. Arkansas takes the whole damn thing that year. I go send my cap in. A couple weeks go by, and they sent me, Calvin, the ugliest jersey I have ever seen in my life from Mountain Dew, along with an envelope. And I'm like, ooh, what is this? Remember that extra prize shit? Well, what I ended up getting was a half a dozen coupons for free cases of Mountain Dew. So that's what I get. I had about 6 cases free of Mountain Dew. So back then, that would have been like about maybe $25 worth of Mountain Dew soda and an ugly jersey. I should have taken a picture of that damn thing. It was so ugly. I wouldn't even give it to my worst enemy to wear. It's like, no. That's my only NCAA story.
Yeah, I kind of remember that contest, but I certainly don't remember what caps I had. But
yes,
I do remember that. That was probably the Corliss Williamson team at Arkansas.
That sounds familiar. You're probably very right on
And
that.
and obviously Nolan Richardson was the coach.
Yes. Nolan is revered down here. I have.
But when you say U of A, I think of University of Arizona.
See, there you go. Yeah.
My ears perked up for a minute. You said U of A. I said, "Ooh, you're talking about the oh God, what's the guy that works at ESPN now? Not Sean Elliott. Oh, I forget the guy's name. I think he was on a championship team. And Henry Bibby's kid. His kid was Mike.
So, I mean, what was it? A few years ago, they had a reunion. They had a sports banquet. It actually was decently priced. They reunited a lot of that team from the March Madness for Razorbacks. And I'm told it was very highly attended. And Nolan came back, and that was a good glory day right there. I'm not entirely sure who has gone into the NBA from that area, except I can give you one old school name because I briefly met him 15 years back. Sidney Moncrief.
Milwaukee.
Was from U of A. And oh my God, what's his name? He was a Bull. Oh geez, my mind is not going really well. Damn it. And he came to open up the Cabela. I don't know how the hell you pronounce it. It's not that anymore though, because Bass bought it. But back then they brought him in. He was with Chicago at the time. Damn it, this is gonna drive me nuts. But I have his autograph too. Wait a minute, Derrick Rose, I think. Maybe I got that wrong. Shit.
No, I don't think that's right.
This is pissing. It's gonna piss me off for the rest of the day.
Because I know he didn't go to Arkansas, and I don't think Derrick Rose is from Arkansas.
Okay. Damn it.
Wasn't Derrick Rose Duke or Kentucky? Derrick Rose. Did he go to like Duke or Kentucky? I don't think Derrick Rose is from Arkansas.
You know your college people more than me. Damn it. It's just going to drive me nuts, though, because this guy did come out of U of A, the one that I met, and went to the Bulls because I've got an 8x10 of him in his Bulls uniform.
Well, Derrick Rose played for the Bulls, but I know he did not play for Arkansas.
It's going to drive me nuts. Never mind. I don't understand American sports. Well, I see. Here's the thing, and I'm not knocking anything. I'm not knocking it because I don't understand it. Maybe if I watched a match or two, I'll get it. I know what cricket is and I know what rugby is. I've just never sat down to watch it. So I'm not going to knock anything I don't know, because that would make me extra ignorant more than I already am already, you see. But
I get a channel now that shows like cricket like 24 hours a day, but I haven't sat down and tried to understand it yet.
I should even for like 5-10 minutes just watch it to see if I can. Who knows? I might end up liking it. And of course, soccer has been soccer and rugby have been huge everywhere else in the rest of the world that deals with sports. That much I know. And I did go to one one Major League Soccer game. Now I know you're like, huh? It was a church field trip, 1980-81. The only time that I was in the original Chicago stadium. Oh, if the walls could have talked in the stadium for all the concerts, Bulls and Blackhawks highlights. But it was the Chicago Sting. The Chicago.
Well, you're talking NASL. You're not talking about MLS.
I don't know.
That was the NASL back then.
See, I'm glad you know what I'm talking about at least. I mean, but yes. So I went to a Chicago Sting game.
You probably saw Karl-Heinz Granitza. That's the only guy I remember from that team. Does that name mean anything? Does that name ring a bell?
No, I'm sorry. I'll tell you what did. Because I remember that back then anyway, late 70s and into like I said, it was 80 or 81, okay? Pele. Of course, Pele was huge. Pele was huge, and it mentioned in this country back in the day. I remember Pele. I think a lot of people remember Pele. But other than that, I don't know jack squat. But yeah, so
No Giorgio Canaglia?
Oh no, don't Calvin. Come on. I was like 13, 14. I ain't gonna remember. Stop, Calvin.
Rodney Marsh, Oscar Fabiani.
Calvin. I don't know, Calvin. My old brain, my brain is all okay, so let's face it. I mean, we'll throw out sports moments for a second, okay? So I did not my first time. I'll always remember. My first time in sports, the first, other than that Sting game, okay, the first professional game of anything that I got to go. My dad, God bless him, he meant well. He was a Cubs fan, okay, in the 70s. Let's face it, I was too. He promised to take me to a Cubs game for close to 10 years. I had to do it myself. So when I was in college with the first time around, me, 3 other friends, very noisy car, muffler gone. Boy, did everybody look at us. Driving to Wrigley in April 86 to go to the Cubs. And it was Cubs Padres. That was my first major league game in 86. It was Steve Garvey's last season. And I remember one of my friends burned a Steve Garvey card and the cameras caught it. Because it was and I'm like, I can't, Joe, his name was Joe. I'm like, Joe, what the fuck are you doing? And back then, we ended up having this rookie. Some guy by the name of Rafael Palmeiro. See, now, oh man. Oh, see, that's when I got hooked. I would go to Cub games 86, 87, 88, 89, 90, and a little into 91 before life hit and I got married again. But yeah, I would go to about on average of 15 Cub games a year. I miss those days. I went to a couple Sox games. I wish I could have said I was at Old Comiskey. I'd be a liar. It was at the New Comiskey. Sox were okay, but Wrigley is what held the charm. Never went to a Bears game, went to a Bulls game once. That was interesting. Unfortunately, that was post Jordan Dynasty. It was in the, people are going to grimace with me on this, the Tim Floyd coaching era. God, Tim Floyd. Oh, fuck, that was bad. And so here was an interesting piece of insight for basketball. So this goes to about late 90s for Bulls. And I met Elton Brand. Okay, he did a personal appearance. We had a new Sears. I know that sounds crazy for I want to say 97, 98 this was, because it was the last time that he was with the Bulls, was Elton Brand. And there was trade talks already going on. So that's the timeline for anybody that knows more about this. And he did a personal appearance for the brand new Sears downtown Chicago. And I'm like, okay, I got out of classes, and I'm like, there was only two people I wanted to meet because there was a whole week of grand opening guests. The other one was boxer George Foreman, who was there, of course, to pimp out his Foreman grill. That's right, whatever model it was at the time. So I didn't get to meet George. That was a nut house that day. But I got to meet Elton. I was the last one in the line. And I said, sir, I always was very polite with the people I met. I go, Mr. Brand, sir, can I ask you a question? And he says, yes. And I'm like, don't leave Chicago. Please, I know you're sick and tired of people telling you this. Please don't leave Chicago. You're the only damn thing we got in this team. You're the only one we got. I go, you leave, we got nothing. He looks to me seriously, dead in the eye, and goes off and says, Paul's your name? Yes, sir. I may not have a choice in this matter, Paul. And I'm like, excuse me? And he leaves the table and walks, and I'm going, within 48 hours, we find out he was traded to the Clippers because of that jackass Jerry Reinsdorf. And guess what? His star shined in the Clippers because he was the only damn thing the Clippers had. I'm like, thanks a bunch, Reinsdorf. Thanks a bunch.
Now that I've been brainstorming, I think Derrick Rose was Memphis.
See, this is going to drive me nuts now.
Because I think the reason why I thought Kentucky because of John Calipari.
I'm going to find that damn 8x10.
But I'm pretty sure that he went to Memphis and played for John Calipari when he was still at Memphis, and they blew the national championship because they couldn't make free throws.
Shit.
I forgot who they played now.
Calvin, I know you're kind of short on time, but can you hang for a couple more minutes?
Yeah.
Let me go grab one more cup of coffee. It's decaf at this time of night. And I want to tell you an interesting story having to do with the 70s in basketball. Hang on one second. Calvin, talk to the public. Tell them something coming up for you. Mm-hmm.
Oh, geez. I don't know what to say. I don't have a clue. Help. Well, I got my Purdue hat on. They're playing Penn State, I think. Yeah, Penn State. And then Iowa beat Rutgers. And Indiana beat Illinois.
The Hoosiers beat Illinois. Oh,
yeah.
Geez.
Illinois is going to the tournament, so it might drop them a seed, but
So, Calvin, how long have you been watching basketball? And I'm talking about college and pro.
College, I would say since I was, I think, 10. So that'd be 70, 78.
Okay.
And NBA is probably, Oh, I knew I was a Sixers fan. Probably maybe a year earlier, maybe 77. I know
Awesome.
football was the earliest. I know I was in kindergarten and I already liked the Eagles
See, there you go.
because when I was a kid, I had a bad speech impediment. So I had to do always taken out of class to go to speech therapy.
You too?
And yeah. And so it was always hard to get for the instructor to get me to talk about stuff. So the main thing I always wanted to talk about was sports.
Nothing
So she
wrong with
was she
that.
was amazed, and when she ran into my parents, she goes, "Man, I never knew anyone so young that knew so much about sports." But
Nothing
yeah,
wrong with that.
I was an Eagles fan, and I was in kindergarten. I was 6 years old and already an Eagles fan. But the other sports came a little later.
Sure.
But I would
So
say around 9 or 10, so 77, 78.
great time to watch. Great time to watch all that stuff. Seriously. As you know, Chicago back in the 70s wasn't exactly really a good era, no matter what it was.
Well, you had
Cubs,
DePaul.
Sox, huh?
You had DePaul.
DePaul, yes, the Blue Demons were really good. And no, but I mean, I still watched. I watched a crap ton. Because everything was on mostly on free TV, so I got to watch a lot of things. And this one here, though, I ended up unfortunately a little late to the game on this. But so obviously, though, I'm just throwing this out for comparison. So in the 90s, or excuse me, the late 80s to mid 90s, we had the Jordan dynasty. We had what would we call the trilogy of excellence. We had Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen, and then the third player kind of slightly would rotate depending on the lineup. But for me, you can alternate between Steve Kerr and John Paxson. Okay, there's other people that way. I used to call him Mr. 3 Point because that he would deliver. So you'd have those three. So that was your Bulls dynasty with Michael Jordan. So the thing is that in the 70s, 74, 75 Eastern Conference Bulls, I got to meet two-thirds of the trilogy from that because your top there would be Artis Gilmore. Never got to meet Artis. I would have loved to have met Artis Gilmore. But you had Artis Gilmore and Bob Love and damn it, the third one's escaping me at the moment. See, this is what I hate about my brain. I used to know these things like you, Calvin. I could drop shit. I could drop it all down really good. But the thing was, I got to meet two-thirds of that classic. Norm Van Leer. That's it. Norm Van Leer. So Norm Van Leer, Bob Love, Artis Gilmore. That was the trilogy of the 74-75 Eastern Conference champ Chicago Bulls. So I got to meet Bob Love and Norm Van Leer. And Bob Love was very nice, very kind. But the one that really took time out for me was Norm. Norm, and we used to have, and I don't know about when you were growing up, okay, and pre-COVID times and stuff, but there were a lot of towns in the Chicagoland area that would have um their expo. So once a year, the town would have this Saturday Sunday affair where all the businesses of that town would come and have a booth and hey, here's a free pen, here's this, here's that, here's some drawings. There always would be at least one sports celebrity at every town expo. This is how I got to meet a lot of the classic players of the day. Lots of strange stories I have. But the basketball related one for today was Norm Van Leer. And when I got to meet Norm, some interesting things were going on. This was a 90s story. And Norm, I found out, not only had because the Loop AM AM 1000, which was a very big station in Chicago, shortly changed their letters to WMVP. It was now a sports talk station. And the only one that they kept, because the contract was pretty expensive, was Steve Dahl for a little while, turned into a sports talk show for the last 6 months or year of his contract. And Bruce Wolf, who was a very big Chicago sportscaster, ended up being his sidekick for a while. But Norm Van Leer did the morning show. And it was a very fascinating talk show back when you still could have local talk, sports talk. So I met Norm, and a couple interesting things. Norm, as we're talking, because nobody else was bothering him, just this guy. And so I got him to sign some things. He was very nice. And he goes, I really like this area. He came to Marengo, Illinois. That's where he came for the expo there. He says, I really like this area, Paul. He goes, in fact, I'm buying I don't want to say a farm, but it was out in the edge of Harvard, Illinois. And I said, wait a minute, Mr. Van Leer, I live in Harvard. And I go, and he spit out a region that he was going to live in, which, get this, was not far away from filmmaker John Hughes. That's right. John Hughes lived in the outskirts of Harvard in the 90s and O's before John died. And I'm like, what Harvard, Illinois had anything to do with this is weird. It really, really is. I don't understand. But Norm, as soon as I mentioned John Hughes, said, oh yeah, I am like slightly down the road and across from John. I'm going, this is too weird. So we're yippee yapping. Like I said, I had like 10, 15 minutes with Norm. And he finds out that I'm trying to get into radio. And he's like, Paul, he goes, when you know you can like be solid with this, he goes, and he pulls out a business card. And he says, call me. And I'm like, what? And he goes, intern, Paul. He goes, I can't pay nothing right now, but you can get in that way. And I'm going, I started bugging my eyes out. And I said, holy shit. I didn't say that to him, but I'm like, yes, sir. So I'm like, I tried to get my affairs in order. But you know how things, when you get excited for 2 seconds and then life throws you a curveball? Somehow within those couple months, Norm's show gets canceled off of MVP. Not only does Norm's show get canceled, I want to say 6 months to a year later, Norm suddenly dies. But that was my basketball story. See, that was my basketball story. So Norm Van Leer, who out of have you ever, I know you like your college stuff, but you said you grew up, Philly stuff. You got a story about any of the Philly legends?
No, not really. I remember, I don't think it was in Sicklerville. It was such a small town, but I remember going to some sort of fair or whatever and getting Bernie Perron's autograph.
See?
And my dad ran into some people. I know my dad ran into Bill Berge, who was big with the Eagles from late 70s to early 80s.
I sort of know that name. That's kick-ass.
And then actually in Sicklerville, Jerry Sizemore, who played for the Eagles in around the same time as Berge, Sizemore actually lived in the same town I did. He lived in Sicklerville. Off season, he lived in Sicklerville, New Jersey. I don't know how much time he got there during the season.
Nice.
But so he actually played football with the neighborhood kids, Jerry Sizemore. When it was the off season.
See, that's neat. Damn it, that's neat.
And when I was this was when I lived in Florida. how old was I? Probably 14, maybe. Because you were talking soccer. We got to play the soccer organization that I played for. Youth soccer. We got to be the halftime entertainment for a Rowdies Tampa Bay Rowdies alumni game.
Sweet.
So I was part of the halftime entertainment.
Oh man, that's
I
nice.
guess I guess we were cheaper than frisbee catching dogs. So
Frisbee catching dog.
we got the gig.
Nice. What that's funny you bring sort of that up. My stepkid somehow, okay, so for a few years, like I said, I lived near Rockford, Illinois for a few years. In the 90s, Rockford had remember the CBA?
Yeah.
Okay. Before, I'm trying to remember, I think Magic Johnson bought the damn thing and ruined it. Well, this is
No, that was
before
Isaiah.
Or thank you. I'm sorry. I'm getting my names wrong here. So before he bought it and ruined it, in the 90s, we had the Rockford Lightning. And the Rockford Lightning were a damn good team for a while, and they were coached by former Chicago Bulls Stacey King. That's who. At one point or another, we had 5 former Chicago Bulls on the squad. Seriously, my kid was into dancing, and so her school got picked to do halftime for one of the Rockford Lightning games. So I thought that was kind of funny to just hey, here's the half. I'm like, whatever. I thought that was pretty damn cool. It's as far as for one other Lightning story. Like I said, the Lightning were good for a couple years. In fact, I think we took the CBA championship at least once during Stacey King's run. Before the franchise went, he ends up leaving the Rockford Lightning to go to, if I remember correctly, he goes to Sioux City, Iowa. There was some team called the Skyhooks. He didn't even finish the season, I think, because that was when they pulled the plug on the CBA, which sucked. But the best player that was a former NBAer that was on that Lightning team, and he was there for 2 seasons. Do you remember a Bull by the name of Jeff Sanders?
Kind of vaguely, not too sure.
Yeah, he was with the Bulls in the late 80s, early 90s. He actually was involved, not in full seasons, unfortunately, though, but he was involved in 1 or 2 of the Jordan Dynasty teams, actually. And Sanders was playing for the Rockford Lightning and averaging, get this, 30 points a game. He still had it. And at the end of the games, we were allowed on the court to get autographs and shoot the shit with players. And I'm like, a couple times I met Sanders and I'm going, and I wasn't being rude or nothing. I said, "Sir, why are you still here?" He goes, "Why are you not back up?" He goes, "You're doing 30 a game on average." I'm like, "Why are you still?" And he goes, originally when I came over here, he goes, it was for rehab assignment. And the next thing I know, I don't have anybody. He goes, "You want to know the truth?" He says, "There is a team that's whispering to bring me up." He goes, "But it ain't Chicago." And I'm going, I hope you get it. Whatever it is, I hope you get it. And so would you believe that was actually the last time I got to meet Sanders? Because within a week, I bet you used to do this too. Every day you'd be looking at the waiver wire and all the activities and stuff of all the teams for everything. And so get this, his name's mentioned, and he goes, Jeff Sanders signed to the Seattle Supersonics for 30-day contract, and I'm going, thank God. I said, at least he's back in the NBA. And I guess he did decent enough that they gave him an extension on that 30-day, but that was like his last dance was with Seattle. So at least he got to finish. But
yeah, I remember the days before USA Today and all these cable networks that do sports. I remember being so excited when the April issue of Baseball Digest would come out. It would have the already outdated 40-man rosters. But I was always so excited because because again, this is before cable, so you saw the local team and whoever they were playing.
Mm-hmm.
So if you were really interested in all the teams, it was hard to get information other than reading the box scores in the paper. So I was always excited in April to see what the rosters of the teams were, even though you don't start the major league season with 40 players.
Mm-hmm.
And secondly, by the time you got the magazine, you already had players moving up and down, getting injured or whatever. So that even made the list even more inaccurate. But I was always so excited. Oh, there's that May issue.
You know what, Calvin? I miss those days. God, do I miss them? I really do.
But getting back to music, actually, I don't think we were on music, but
yeah.
But I was kind of surprised when you were talking about Echo and the Bunnymen and U2,
Mm-hmm.
that you didn't leave that concert being more impressed with Echo and the Bunnymen.
Sorry.
What was wrong with What was wrong with you?
There's lots of things wrong with me, Calvin. Okay, but I
mean, was this the pre? Now I could see how you can make an exception. Was this the pre Joshua Tree U2?
Oh yes, we're talking. It was the tour for.
So we're talking the White Flag. Oh, did they have the White Flag already?
No. It was before then. It was I Will Follow. I Will Follow was just like after I saw U2. I think I just shortly after that, I started hearing I Will Follow on the radio. And that's pre-MTV, barely. And I'm just sitting here and I'm like, I dug it because they played it in concert and everybody was pogoing. That was the first time I ever saw that. And I'm going, so I pogoed along. I'm like, I don't know what the fuck this is, but okay. So, I mean, you're talking about a 13-year-old kid, I don't know, because Calvin, the true story is I would never have seen U2 and Echo and the Bunnymen if it wasn't for the death of Zeppelin, because that was supposed to be my 18th birthday concert. My buddy Bill and his dad got tickets because Bill's dad had an inside with the Chicago Stadium. Now, he didn't get free tickets. He had to pay for them, but we got tickets. Free tickets for November 80 to see Zeppelin. Don't ask me what night. I don't remember. Point is, by the time they came home that day, Bonham was dead, and that was the end of it. So Bill goes, hey, he goes, you want to go see Echo and the Bunnymen? And I'm going, who's Echo and the Bunnymen? And he goes, doesn't matter. It's a free ticket. Come on. That's how I saw Echo and the Bunnymen. And U2 as an added bonus.
Yeah, back then I would have agreed with you, but because actually I don't own anything from either one. But as far as listening today, I would rather get a Echo and a Bunnymen record, unless it's one of the first 3 U2 albums. Because I know I had a friend of mine who was like 3 years younger than me, but he was big into Joshua Tree, and that's when I jumped the ship from U2, because before they were like political. I mean, they were always political behind the scenes, but the earliest part of their music, they had a lot of political themed songs, and then when Joshua Tree came out, it was more introspective and deep thoughts. You know, streets that have no name, and
Yeah.
kind of found what I'm looking for. They were more introspective songs than anti-war songs. So I kind of jumped the ship.
Yeah.
But
so
yeah, I'm looking to get some early U2 on vinyl.
Definitely. Unforgettable Fire. That, yeah. A Sunday Bloody Sunday, the Under a Blood Red Sky EP. That's where he's had the white flag by then.
Well, the white flags were in the white flags were in the New Year's Day video when they were riding the horses.
Right. Right.
And then I think they had like backpacks or something behind them, and you could see the white flags.
Yep. Yep. You're right. I haven't forget. But you know, for me, the jumping off point was after Rattle and Hum. That was when I jumped off, because I remember, I think it was a couple of years later, right? So they came up with this Zooropa record, and I bought it because I figured, hey, and then I listened to it and I'm like, what the hell? Seriously, that's what I said. I'm like, and that was like 91, I think, and I'm like, what the hell is this? And I'm like, I took it back. That was one of the few records I ever returned. I said, and my buddy ran a record store. I said, look, this is shit. I said, I don't want my money back. Just let me get credit for something else. But this is shit. And he goes, you're not the first one to bring this back. That's what he said. That was a great EP for U2, Under a Blood Red. I enjoy those first few records from them. And honestly, there's maybe a handful of songs after Rattle and Hum that I enjoy from them. And I don't know, that's just me, I guess. But yeah, U2 is not, like you said, Calvin, U2 used to be, you know, political and this and that, and they had a message. Those first couple albums are great. And yeah, after Rattle and Hum, I just gave up. I did.
Yeah, I had a chance to get one of those early U2s, but I forget which one it was. It's the one that it has a UK pressing and then a different US pressing where the covers are different.
I don't know. You got me on that.
I think
one.
Maybe it was Boy. I know I had a chance.
I forgot. Are you talking about the album War? Because that's got the Kid on it. I forgot War.
Yeah, might have been. It was either probably War or Boy, where there was a US cover and then there was a different UK cover.
Yeah. I just remember the Kid on the cover. But
I think one had the Kid and then one had something different, and it was the different one. And I said, "Oh no, I don't want that one." And then I never did get it.
That's right, they did.
But yeah, I didn't get into Echo and the Bunnymen until much later. I know in high school there were a group of kids that liked them, and I had no idea who the heck they were talking about. It's like, what kind of name is that?
Yeah. Well, there was a lot of people with all kinds of strange names, but you see, so when I got into high school was in 81, and MTV just started as I was going to high school. So, I mean, before then I was whatever the hell was on our Chicago.
Oh, so you're like a year older than I am.
Well, yeah, it's in September I'll be 55.
Oh, so yeah, I'm 54.
But MTV, at least those first 5 years, they opened my musical world up, because they would play, especially the first year or two, when they didn't have enough videos. So they started playing older shit. And I'm like, I'm not kidding you. I used to have a notebook, and I'd be like, I like this song. I'd write it down. And so that's how my record collection, some people say MTV killed the music industry. Well, yeah, later, but honest to God, that first year or two, I bought more records because of MTV and the radio than anything else. And then, like I said, when it started to fall away from the music and all that other shit, I really didn't like MTV. The only thing I'd stick with was Headbangers Ball. I liked Headbangers Ball because I get to pick up on all that stuff. And then once in a while, I'd listen to 120 minutes to get the alternative stuff, you know. So, but other than that, I didn't listen to it after that.
The original guy that did 120 minutes, he's on First Wave on Sirius Radio.
Oh, okay.
Not Matt Pinfield, but the guy before Matt Pinfield. I don't remember his name.
I'm having a hard time remembering that too, but I think I know who you're talking about. But yeah.
So, what's the worst video you remember on MTV?
The worst video? Oh my God, the worst. There's probably
I have one that comes to mind immediately. Do you remember? It was an all-female band. Do you remember a band called Total? I hope I pronounced this right. Cuelo. It was like Cuelo, something like that. And they had a song called "I Eat Cannibals."
Shit! Now I'm gonna have to look this up. Total Coelho.
Yeah,
I Eat Cannibals. I'm gonna have to look at this.
And I remember the video because they looked like they were all wearing garbage bags as their clothes. I think they were like multicolored, but each one had like a different color, I think, but they looked like they were wearing garbage bags. And the name of the song was "I Eat Cannibals."
See, and I'm trying. That's funny. I mean, the horrible stuff. Maybe I'm blocking it out, but I mean, I just started getting, like I said, if it wasn't for that damn channel, my music would not have expanded. Like, for example,
you bought the Buggles because of MTV. Oh,
you know what? Even though that song was 2 years old and I didn't know that at the time, yeah, I bought that damn 45. But I actually, yes, I got that album, and I also got "I Am a Camera," the next one. That was the only other thing. And I didn't know that those two went to Yes in 80. I just started getting into Yes, and Drama actually is one of my favorite Yes albums. Yeah, the only one, of course, at that time in the non-Anderson catalog. That's about as close as you're going to get to hard rock Yes. And I'm like, I actually enjoyed that damn album back then. But but some of the type of music that I didn't know about until that channel, ska. I got into the Specials. I got into Madness, early Madness, the Selector. You know, I got into that stuff and I liked it. Probably some of the new wave stuff. Got onto like Duran Duran. I didn't know who Duran Duran were, and I remember like Planet Earth. I'm like, hey, this is actually kind of catchy. And then
I think they kind of broke in the same time as MTV.
Yeah, so that kind of stuff.
Because I think Rio and what was the other song they had with Rio? Hungry Like a Wolf.
Yeah, Hungry Like a Wolf.
I think that was all early Duran Duran, and I remember those being heavily played on MTV. Yeah. I never bought any Duran Duran, so I don't know what their first. I never really liked them too. I liked a few songs here and there, but so I don't know if those songs are from their first album or a little later. But I think it's early. At least it's early Duran Duran.
Yeah.
So I think they hit MTV the same time.
Yeah. And so I used to listen to all different kinds of stuff. And then, of course, like I said, when Headbangers came and they started playing the more harder stuff, and I liked most of that. And I was like, wow, okay. And then like some of the alt stuff for 120 minutes, you know, I was like, okay. The only stuff that I couldn't really wrap my head around, of course, was Yo MTV Raps. By that time, I kind of stopped watching MTV. I think even VH1 shortly was created thereafter, and I would watch VH1 more than MTV. By the late 80s, maybe around 90, I think is when I really stopped watching But it served a purpose back then for us, and it was a good purpose. And you could steer clear from shit you didn't like, and I like. But you got to see this as like your Coelho. It's like, oh no, there was other ones. There was other ones. But I got to get going here. This has been a great 2 hours, and I'd like to thank you for coming on board, Calvin, and Dave for coming on board for a while, and you guys out in the peanut gallery. I had up to about 16, 17 people. That was kind of nice. It's not James numbers, but it's good enough for me. It's not about the numbers, it's the experience. And I want everybody to have a kick-ass weekend. At least I hope so. And I hope your March Madness continues to go the way you want it to on this. And I don't know. I love you guys. I'm glad you all are here. Seriously.
And I hope you get a chance to check out that Speed, Glue, and Shinkai. Because I heard your opinion on Record Store Day on Tim's show, and I think if you listen to that, you're gonna change your mind.
I will,
and you're gonna make sure you sleep overnight to make sure you get that Speed, Glue, and Shinkai reissue. I know everyone thinks I'm kidding around. I'm not. I'm serious.
I'm not kidding, Cal. I'm not laughing, Calvin.
I hadn't really found anybody who knows what I'm talking about yet. But I'm excited.
I kept all the Instagram stuff so I can go back and
the only terrible thing is Tarpon Springs doesn't have any record stores. Therefore, we don't have any record store. We don't have any Record Store Day record stores. There are no record stores in Tarpon. We have thrift stores, and then we have antique stores that might have a little bit of records, but we don't have what you would call our that's basically just all records or CDs or whatever. There is no such thing in Tarpon. So I have to go to Clearwater. So,
yeah. Oh boy, yeah,
which is only a 15-minute drive, but
we got Block Street Records. They have 2 locations. I'd say probably the closest one also is a 15-minute drive, and then after that it'd be Joplin, Missouri. There's a indie record store out of a barn of all things, a big barn, and that's it pretty much, unless you go to Tulsa, which to me that's a 2-hour drive, is Tulsa. So,
but even with Record Store Day, then you still got to try to figure out if they have what you want,
right? Yeah,
because there's so many things out, and you only get so many. So,
remember Night Flight, Scott, Calvin? I loved Night Flight back in the day.
Yeah.
Some Night Flight, I think, on Facebook. You'll have to. Night Flight's got a thing on Facebook. Go check that out, because they have some type of a subscription service that you can watch a bunch of the old stuff, I guess, for a low price. But yeah, Night Flight. Oh God, on USA Network. I remember that stuff. That was fun too.
I think USA used to have Night Flight on their on demand. When you have cable, and each of the networks have their own little on demand stuff you can watch.
And good old Up All
Night. They used to have Night Flight, but it used to be like little segments of Night Flight, like 2 or 3 minute segments. It was never the whole episode. But I see if I can find a link to Total Coelho. I assume the video's up there somewhere.
Yeah,
I never seen anyone in the VC hold up a Total Coelho LP. But.
Oh boy, well, maybe there's a reason, but I don't know. I'm just kidding. But I want everybody to have a kick-ass weekend, and you guys take care, and God bless and rock on. And thanks everybody. Thanks everybody that shows up here and is part of the show, because it means a lot to me. Calvin,
and hopefully Miami is still beating Duke.
Hopefully Miami is still beating Duke. You take care, my friend. Everybody out there, rock on, okay? Thanks a bunch.
I tried.